Hey, welcome to the Dutchmans Word Shack. Um, as you can see, I'm playing with models. No, it's for my trains. I gotta get. I have to get these things done. But here's the instructions how to build these darn houses. It's like, oh my God, you know. Well, pictures taken that telling you 1,000 words, and yep, I've already screwed up one. But anyway, what I wanted to say, it's Thursday night. Um, I think it's about a week and a half, well, a couple of weeks before Christmas. It's colder than sin out there. It's probably 2 degrees, I think. Anyway, I want to take a moment and thank everybody for the last year. 2025 has been, or 24 has been a rough year for me personally. Um, as far as my hobby slash business, it's hanging in there. I like doing this kind of stuff, and I like showing it to you guys. So as long as you guys like what I do, I'll keep posting it. Whether um, I thought about doing a regular paid show somewhere, but I don't know if anybody would be interested in woodworking. So I do want to thank people on WRMN radio station for letting me, they plugged me a lot on that station. Now it's an FM or an AM station. It's 1410. It's a local Elgin station here in Illinois. And I know a couple of the guys that run it, so we talk about the name of their show is Apolitical Talk Show, and it's on from 4 to 6. It's a great talk show. It's a bunch of young guys talking, really making sense of politics, and it's different than anything's out there. So I hope they succeeded, and I try to plug them. So if you can, if you're a radio geek and you want to check it out, but anyway, and they're on here on YouTube, by the way. They have a YouTube channel. So to to those guys, management changed a whole bunch of stuff, and it's really nice. Anyway, they have a great lineup of programming too. So check them out and see what you think. But I got to thank all those people, and I got to thank all my friends that have watched me, Mary Pat especially. Um, I think she's one of my biggest fans, but anyway, and God bless everybody. Right now, I hope everybody's health stays good and everybody has a good time with the Christmas and the holidays. Unfortunately, it's just me and Eileen. I will be trying to mingle with people in the next couple of weekends, before Christmas and afterwards. But this will be my first Christmas without my mom, and definitely my first Christmas without my dog. My dog was like my best friend, and I know even though it was a while ago, it still bothers me. It prevents me from getting another dog. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know if I want to go through that again, but would probably outlive me. So anyway, um, I am gonna be messing around in the shop a little bit. I'm gonna try and customize this place. I don't know. I want to do some woodworking here on the walls and do some mosaic type stuff that I've got. But it's Christmas time, so I've been playing with trains and models, and I'll be posting some of my stuff. I have um, leftover things that I've made from the show that I just got through doing. We did an art show over the weekend, and we did okay. It was let's just say I didn't do as much as I did last year, but it was still okay. So um, I think I started out. Let's see what I started out with 52 items, and I sold 26. So there you go. Um, and the boss, she sold a bunch too. So her bulk, she actually sold more than I did. So, but woodworking is kind of funny. People are weird about woodworking. They don't like. I made a whole bunch of. I made a whole bunch of snowmen, and I, I think I got about. I still have 4 or 5 left over. Same thing with Christmas trees. I got a handful of them. So last year they were out. They were gone before the second or third day. That was, you know, this year. So next year I won't be making Christmas trees or snowmen. I'll be thinking of something else. So and and I want to know what you guys like on this channel. I love talking about woodworking. My background's in it. I spent my whole entire life doing stuff, tearing things apart and putting it back together. That's kind of my life, actually. I got to tell you this story. Okay, I have to tell you this. When I was a kid, maybe I don't know, 10, 11, I was big into. I was a gearhead. Okay, so I my next door neighbor owned a lawnmower shop. So he comes home with this big box full of motor parts and motors. And he knew that I liked motorized stuff because at the time I had a mini bike and I was running around all over the place with it. And then where I lived in the desert, you know, across the street was a vacant lot in the desert. You could go to Vegas from my house and not have to see another house again. But uh, what he did is he did, and I kept taking things apart, and I learned motors from the inside out, and I would take things apart, drive my dad's nuts, and put them back together. Um, now get this. Now, back in that day, that I'm talking like 50, 60 years ago, right? But I'm 68, so he he used to complain about me taking his tools out and burying them in the backyard. No, that's not what it was, but it was. Anyway, I never had anything in the backyard. We used to have a push mower, not a motorized push mower. I mean a push mower, a real where you know because we didn't have that big a yard, so. But I was always figuring out a way to do this, and okay, Jeff on the block had to motorize everything. There wasn't a thing on the block that I didn't think to try to put something on. And a go kart wanted to put a bigger motor on it, and then they've been tuning motorcycles, fooling around with that. But the point I'm trying to get at was I'm always taking things apart, analyzing it, and putting it back together. And that's what I do. I mean, I do this with wood. Okay, for instance, I'll take a piece of wood. Okay, it's just a Christmas tree I'm still working on. I'm gonna put glitter on it, and I don't know if that'll sell or not. But I always analyze the wood. And when I was going to college for forestry, I worked for the Forest Service for about 10 years, 18 years, and I learned forestry. I learned about I basically learned forest ecology and um, how things work and what we do here. Just the one thing about Illinois I like is they take care of their grounds. The forest preserves the King County or the King County, but the county forest preserve, the park districts, and the states all take great pride in working on their natural fauna, and it's an awesome because in California it's the opposite. It don't touch it, you might hurt it, you know. So you see this last week, the fires that happened out there. That's kind of my old stomping grounds, and that doesn't surprise me because they don't do anything to manage it out there, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. And I try to talk to people about how you can make things out of scrap wood without cutting trees down. Everybody's worried about clear cutting, you know, and all that. Well, you could do this without clear cutting. Pallet wood, I got pallet wood all over the place. Um, this just happens to be a piece of pallet wood I got off a pallet. It's I believe it's poplar, but it's good stuff. And I all they did was do is take it, plane it down on my thickness planer, and size it up, and we're good to go. I could use it for a bowl. You would know the difference between good stuff and bad stuff. That's the other point. Um, the idea with me is to show people how you can recycle stuff and make it, I use, okay, so this is an old creamer bottle. Okay, so I saved this. There's a reason why. Is I have glue in it. Okay, I have Tite Bond wood glue. This pour out spout, it's easy to clean. The problem with other kind of glue that I had, the top was like this, and that point in there kept getting clogged up, and then finally it broke. So the Tite Bond heads that they have on the other bottles, they're kind of like this, or like the one here, and they tend to clog up and break off. They're impossible. This is easier to wipe off, and I can take the top off much easier. I should put a name on it, but I'm running low on this stuff. I do have a big gallon of it though, but um, when I'm working on stuff, I try to be practical. Am I the best guy at turning? Am I the best guy making things? No. Do I have a professional shop? Somewhat, but it's not like, I when you're a small guy, you have to figure out a way to work cheaply and efficiently and still make it look good, and that's what I do. Now, when I'm teaching people about a lathe, the biggest problem I have with people sometimes, you're using a wrong tool. You're using, that isn't my tool. I've used the tool they talk about, but I prefer using, and I tell that to everybody. I mean, if they you set out to make something, just make it. Whatever it takes, just make it. I don't care how it gets done, just make it. That's the way I have always been taught. So, I mean, there's a right or wrong? No. But just have fun with it. That's the problem with people when they go out thinking, it's like golf. You can't tell me that golf relaxes you because there ain't even, I have fun doing it because I can't golf for the darn. So, I enjoy what I do. The reason I'm having this discussion tonight is because it's getting close to Christmas, and you still have time to make things. All right, you still have times to make your own presents. Don't buy them from the big department stores, Walmart, Target. Make something, even if you don't have the tools that I do. There's other things. I saw today. I saw something my wife sent me. Um, this stuff like this. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and you can make this for a Christmas tree. You know. Now here's imagination. Now this is why I say keep an open mind. You could go somewhere and buy Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, and buy those wreaths, right? Take the wreath, pull it apart, and take. Say this is it. You could take the branches and go like a regular tree would be, a Christmas tree, like an actual pine tree, and put them on here. Fix them, glue them. Maybe you have to tie them down a little bit and then glue them. But you want to overlap them. Say this is a branch. You go like this over the top. You could paint this green. You could put glitter on it, and then put all kinds of. You can make little. You could. I mean, there's little things. I know people take buttons. I saw the one I saw was buttons. It was a button tree. It looked really nice. It's a craft. You just go to to the Hobby Lobby I live by. I'm there all the time. So that's an idea. All right. If you're a turner, you don't have to get really carried away. You could just take a branch, turn it like this. You're gonna laugh. I took I took my stain from my model railroad and stained it and let it dry overnight because it was water while you're sober. And then I took and put 2 coats of polyurethane on this, and I glued the star. Now I took the star and I made it on my bandsaw. Yeah, my stars, I can do better with my stars, but yeah. 2 things you can do. You could do the same thing. Oh, if you wanted to be brave, okay, I took a cup like this. Okay, you could get a pine cone and make something like this, right? if you're a resin guy, you can put this inside there on a bigger one. And basically, if you, and that's what this is for. The idea for me is to cut this, and then put this on the bottom. You know what I mean? So it'll be down about here. The idea was for me with this one was to cut it open and fill it full of resin, and then have it like this instead of me trying to curve it. Because see, when I do the bigger ones, it ends up like this. See, and there is a pine cone in there. This one's kind of a flop. Me and resin don't get along. There's no reason for resin. Who's out there? Well, thank you guys. Thank you very much. Um, I try to be upfront with people too and stuff. I'm retired, so I mean I am here. I'm trying to make a little money too. Um, I do a lot of volunteer work for people. I'm with the Windy City Turners, and I love that group. I was with the another group, and I dropped out because it I'm more involved with turning than I am the other stuff. Although I do make furniture from time to time. So um, anyway, I hope everybody has a great holiday week. Remember, now I was gonna throw. Let me back up a little. I was gonna throw a challenge to you guys, but I changed my mind on this because I realize everybody's busy. So, and I am too in a way. So I'm still trying to figure out how to put these darn things together. I laugh at myself. You see, like made a mess on the inside. Oh, nobody. So this is me trying to paint stuff. Anyway. Oh, and the other thing I have that since I'm an old firefighter, okay, I'm on. I have a couple of fire channels on. So Broadcastify is a good one if you want to hear all the action going on. Um, I never leave home without that. I once a smoke eater, always a smoke eater. That, I could tell you interesting. I might do that someday. I wanted to write a book on this. But I was kind of using it for other things now. But the phrase, what I was going to name the book was the title was going to be Boots on the Ground. Okay, so there's a TV program out there called Fire Country. Well, I did stuff like that, except it's that half of that stuff is hokey crap. It's it started out as a con crew, which by the way didn't have any of that freedom they show on that show. Um, and the people that work on there, uh, if you're most of the time they have a security guard that tells you you can't. Now I've been in major campaign fires where you had to work with those guys, and they're all good at what they do. Now the thing is, in order to get on a crew like that, you have to be in good behavior. And I know that there's a lot of people that were on that were firefighters in the past who ended up going on being actual fire chiefs and captains and firefighters, which is a good thing because it teaches you a lot. You learn a lot, and I can't say that enough because I started in that job when I was a kid, and you start learning manhood stuff real quick, especially when other people's lives are at stake. And that's the one thing I don't see a lot of people doing nowadays. You have to work with people that depend on you. You're only as good as your weakest link, right? And sure the heck isn't the Bears. They don't work with each other. They haven't for years. Anyway, I have a feeling that the Raiders will be a better team than the Bears will. They'll be up. It's just. But anyway, um, I like helping people when I can. I'm involved in a lot of stuff, like I said. And someday I'll write down something on there instead of talking about it and explain from start to finish. Because I know on LinkedIn, and I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm not good at technology, so I have to rewrite my whole LinkedIn site. But I care deeply about the environment, and a lot of times I'll have discussions on certain things, and this is where I like people to learn about trees. Okay, the more trees we plant, the more water that could be produced. And the reason I say that is talk about rainforests. What do rainforests do? They produce rain, right? So, yeah, same idea. Back when the dinosaurs were living, same thing. They had a ton of trees. It was very wet and humid, and that's the kind of thing that produces a good amount of water supply for everybody in the world. Think about that. So plant a tree or plant a bush or even a flower. Big garden in the spring when it has time. Don't do it now because it won't last. With that note, I wish you guys all a good night, and I'll come back on when I've got some stuff to turn. I brought in more wood, so I might even show you how to do a pen. So, anyway, guys, again, like I always say, the end of the day, be creative. Even if you're not a woodworker, be creative. God bless you guys. God bless America.